You know what today's movie is, Colby?
No, Barry, what's that?
It's so effed up. It's like, I think it's like the only quotable thing, and even then, it's a lot for a minister.
Yes.
What's going on, guys? My name is Barry,
This is Colby.
and this is Who Watches This. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the third month of
Love Bites. Vampire horror movies. Or obviously vampire horror movies. They're all horror vampire comedies.
Well, like, they're not all of them are like horror. There's Twilight. There's the vampire movie with Jim Carrey. God,
That's true.
I forgot what that movie was called. Bitten?
Once Bitten?
Yeah, I think it was that. And the original the movie version of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, right.
Hilarious.
Right, with Paul Rubens as the vampire.
Yeah. But yeah, today we are continuing on our dark love journey of vampire movies.
That's weird. Our dark love journey. What?
In today's climate, that could be heard in a specific way. We just mean like dark.
Mandingo month. Yeah.
Oh god. It's a different podcast for a different channel. I love that there is a porn star named Mandingo.
Right, yep.
But there's an Asian porn star named Hung Lo. Spelled L-O, though. Yeah.
Right. Wasn't there was somebody in like some of the Asian movies like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon? I felt like I always sit through the credits of every movie. Yeah. But I thought I remember seeing this name and being like, oh! And it was like Hung Tan Dong, and I was like, that's the best name.
I know. I remember, when I was I think middle school, I had a PE class with some guy named Frank Dong. But we had this, a super, not super old, but he was a fairly older black man. Mm-hmm. But he had a twang in his voice. So I'd be like, it's Frank Dong here. Frank Dong. And I was like, yo. Because it was a primarily Asian school, so the last name Dong isn't so uncommon.
Right.
But the way it was funny too, because he was also our librarian. School districts can't afford multiple staff. I remember. I think my government teacher in high school was also junior varsity coach.
Okay.
His class was super easy because it's just all notes. I don't think that was his day job. Oh man! But today, yeah, we'll get to our little what's it called? Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, and this one was kind of hard for me to do, so it's kind of simple. It's a more simpler rhyme scheme.
Okay.
All right. Jacob is for the Lord, but Anne finds him to be a bore. She's tempted by an ex and gets close to cheating sex, but pulls away last minute just to get bitten. I had to say that a different way, but it rhymes somewhere out there. Now we'll see if she's able to still live life and still remain Jakob's wife.
Yep, not too bad. Yeah. Not too bad.
This movie, like you said, before we actually started this, I had told Colby that I had recognized this lady, Barbara Compton, and I was like, it drove me crazy until she, pulled her breast out, and I was like, oh.
And that's 3/4 of the way through the movie.
Yeah, I gotta say, for being, I think when this movie came out, 2021, we're in 2024 as of recording. For a 62-year-old, Nice press.
Right. Oh yeah, and this is like even though the cast's not any like big names,
Yeah.
everybody in here's got like credentials.
Yeah.
Like they have
Yeah, we were looking.
chock full of movie history.
Yeah, movies, TV. They've been all over the place. It was kind of crazy to think about it, but like, yeah, like you said before, when we were talking about it, Barbara Compton has been a lot of like B horror and all
Right.
that stuff.
Oh yeah, she
and,
was. We were looking. It was like she was like Full Moon's Girl Friday. She was.
Oh yeah.
It looked like 8 or 10 Full Moon features.
And you know what? Hey, as funny as it is, like when people always talk about Full Moon, it's sort of like a joke and all that stuff, but it has such a huge like cult following
Oh right.
that she's like B horror like
Yeah.
royalty at this point.
Yeah, when you get a movie that's like a cheesy horror movie that like everybody makes fun of, and then you're like, you know what? We're gonna make 10 sequels off of that.
Yeah. And like what's awesome is that like people like it used to be such a joke like with Galaxy Quest, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember that like at the beginning of the movie they're like we keep having to go to these cons, but
Right,
like those cons are paying.
Yep.
Those cons are paying for those panels, and I would love to be in asylum movies, whatever will take me.
Yes. Right.
But the reason why I think this episode might be a little shorter is just like this is a very Full Moon-ish type of runtime. We're looking at like a solid maybe like after credits and all that stuff like an hour 28, hour 30.
Yeah.
Well, like official runtime is like an hour 38, but like three to
The
4
opening and then the
minutes
credits. Yeah.
for each one.
Yeah. And this was a Shudder
Original.
original, right? Yep.
Yeah, it just keeps like auto billing, and I'm like always telling myself like I've already watched everything on Shudder, and then like the year goes by so fast now that you're old. Like, jeez, I remember in like school when I was going to school as a kid, I'm like, this school year's lasting, so can't wait to be an adult.
Right. And now Christmas was a month ago. You know, like
it just keeps this slipping away. But yeah, let's get into talking about this movie. This movie starts off. One thing I do gotta say before I get into this is like the budget might be low or whatever, but it's like really good photography. Like a director of photography, really good shots.
the director did something else that was notable. Third Floor, or oh my god, I can't remember the name.
Oh, he's also done, Interview with the Vampire. a lot of classic, a lot of good old movies. Yeah, it just really, I think it's a really well shot movie. That's
Right,
one of the things I wanted to say. But this movie starts off pretty ominous, with a sermon. I was like, oh, is this gonna be like ultra religious? Okay, but
Well, yeah, you can't go against or you can't say anything about a vampire movie that's got a priest in it. You can't be like, oh, this is going to be preachy, because hey, they're like the mortal enemies.
Yeah. Well, I would say Van Helsing is the more.
Right.
Was he a priest or a minister? Nah, he was a minister of murder. So that's a good wrestling moniker right there.
Oh, he was like Blade, right? Wasn't he like he was like a crossbreed?
Well, I guess if you go with the Hugh Jackman version, he was a werewolf or something like that. I don't know. That's another cult classic, I believe.
Right.
But I know we open up with the sermon. Jacob, who is the minister, is conducting this whole thing. The sermon ends, and people are like talking to the the minister as you do like towards the end.
Right.
Of service and all that stuff, but you can kind of tell, like, you see Anne, who is Jakob's wife, just in the pews and also standing behind her husband.
Yeah.
Almost like a very dutiful, old school type of dynamic in their marriage.
Right. Oh yeah. And then he kind of like even like when she tries to say stuff, he doesn't like rudely interrupt her, but he just kind of talks over her.
Yeah, it was, I think now it's like less of a problem just because people are more outspoken and
Right.
they're like, this is my, hey, these are my boundaries or whatever, set up, and which is really healthy, I believe. I think that might lead to stronger relationships down the line. Old school like marriages are like, get in the kitchen.
I, right, right.
like like the older I got, the more it's funny because like at one of my old jobs, I had a couple kids working with us, but some of them were Mexican descent, and one of them was a kid that I talked to him. Was like, oh, what kind of girlfriend do you want, and what kind of what kind of marriage type do you see for yourself in the future? He's like, well, I would like a traditional, she doesn't have to work, but everything in the house is kept up.
Right.
Breakfast is ready type stuff. And, and I was just like, well, I mean, if you're gonna make money enough to have her stay at home, that's cool. But,
Right. Yeah. Unfortunately, that is
dying.
a definite hitch in that get along.
Oh.
Is that there's lots of times you can't live on a single
income anymore.
Income household. Yeah.
It's funny enough too is like I just recently had some family over for the just like a little bit after the holidays and stuff, and they were telling me like, my aunt was from California, but she, fortunately for her, like her, what do you say, like not dead husband, but like, her past husband, who is passed, had left her a home in California, which you already know, in a really good area. A lot of money.
Right.
But she was telling me like, she's a little bit, she's like in her 80s now, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm just renting rooms in the house. And they're telling me like, well, everybody's just renting rooms in California now. Not even being able to get apartments or anything.
Yeah.
So I told the kid, I was like, well, if you want the traditional thing, you're gonna have to be the traditional type of guy, and but like this is sort of like their dynamic in this whole relationship. It looks like they're living somewhere like in Kentucky or something.
Yeah, a small town, Midwest.
Small enough to live on a minister's salary. Because they have a really nice house. It's a very old school house, but yeah. And so the night, as the day as they get done with service, they go home, and we kind of get a glimpse of their home life. It's very monotonous.
Right. And then there was kind of like you said, there was like the the housewife that they immediately showed breakfast being made the next morning.
Yeah, and they're brushing their teeth together. She's making dinner, but like as she's doing her like wife duties, you could just see the discontent.
Right. Yeah, and then there's the like he's snoring in bed, and she's just very just like ugh.
Yeah, like it makes it even worse when he rolls over and starts snoring in her ear. You can tell this woman who's been domesticated, I guess you could say.
Right.
Maybe at one point she had a fire under her, because I feel like a lot of small town people are always like, I want to leave the small town, go into the big city.
Right, big dreams.
Big dreams, and there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes they're able to do it, and they go back to their town when they're like settled. Like, I just want to retire somewhere quiet.
Right.
Or they never do, whatever, But you can kind of tell this woman had a fire in her before.
Yeah.
Also, like, one of the things I learned from past, we haven't done this movie yet, but I don't know if we can do this movie anymore with the climate and everything. But do you ever watch the movie Joanna Man?
Oh, yeah.
So like, remember, like towards the middle of the movie, Vivica A. Fox was talking to the main character, and she was like, I just wish someone would send me flowers on a Wednesday, just because. Nothing special. And that's definitely what it looked like. And then we get those themes later on in this movie too, right? Because, yeah, like, routine, for some people, routine is great. But for this woman, it's been, 30, 40 years they said they were married?
Right.
And they're like, no. And so So all of a sudden, we see her like with a newspaper, and there's a big wig in town, and it used to be someone they had went to high school with.
Right.
Tom Law. Sounds badass. I'm not gonna lie. Sounds like a freaking Tekken character.
Right. Yep.
And so what's it called? They have like a sort of little meeting with, I believe, who is Jacob's best friend.
Yeah.
And his wife and all that stuff, and they're talking about like, what Tom Law is doing in the city or like doing in town, that he's gonna set up some factory.
Right. So they have the old gin mill that got closed down, and they're going to basically kind of renovate, leave it as a gin, but leave it the same style, but they're going to renovate it into like kind of like into a mall.
Oh, okay, that's what they're. I thought they were gonna set up a new factory. Usually, these small towns have like a factory, and then that's where
right.
80% of the jobs are.
It seems like this used to be one of the big factories in town, but it closed down, and now they're trying to figure out what to do with it. And like she's on being part of the church, she's on like the board, and then they were like, hey, we don't want to tear it down. Remember, we fought to keep it up, and now we have, we finally got the approval to be able to, open it up to the public.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Earlier in the movie, at the beginning of the film, I can't believe I forgot this. The minister is talking to a youth.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking like, oh, is your mother still sick? And she's like, yeah. And then she walks home, and then that's when she gets attacked. So we know something's going on in this town.
Yeah.
Right. But no. So Anne sets up a meeting with Tom. She tells her husband like, hey, I'm gonna go meet Tom, and we're going to talk about, like, the construction or whatever that's going to happen with the mill. Jacob does say something about it, though.
He's like, oh, like your old flame? And she's like, I don't know. I wouldn't call it that. I knew him, but...
But, he's... Like, what can you really... he really should have been like, no. I'll go talk to him. This is the fire that she's probably missing, She's like, a little jealousy, I feel like, is healthy.
Right. and then you do see, because the next scene she's like putting on different shades of lipstick.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm like, how gussied up should I be going for this?
I'll tell you right now, if I was Jacob and I saw her doing all that, I'm like, yo, nope.
Right. We're going together.
Yeah, we are meeting him as a team unity. But no, like, he's like, all right, well, come back for dinner, because I don't know how to make.
Right.
That's probably the situation. So, they go meet up at this fancy restaurant. A little tension-ish is going on. And do they kiss in the restaurant?
They don't, but he kind of insinuates. He's like, oh, I'm glad you're happy with Jacob, but I used to be so exciting, and I don't,
adventurous.
Yeah, adventurous. Yeah. You wanted to move to Cairo, and I just didn't ever picture you being the kind of person that would settle down with somebody like Jake.
Yeah, and Anne was like, well, my parents died, and then his family was there for me, and Jacob was around.
Right. Yeah, and then you left to, follow your dreams and kind of just left me here, so it was just like...
Yeah, and like, so... But like, they're like, hey, let's go to the gin factory. We used to sneak in there or something like that, right?
Right, yep.
And so they go there, and, they sit on some boxes, and then Tom, puts a little hand on her thigh.
Yep.
And they kiss. They do, goes, oh, it's treacherous, harlot. But she's like, no, I can't.
Right.
I
appreciate your
enthusiasm,
your flattery of me, but no, I'm married. I can't do this.
I can't do that to Jacob. She still has feelings for Jacob, which is
right.
But and so he's like, are you sure? Trying to lay it down on him, like throwing her like fuck me eyes, as the youth would say. Yep. And then all of a sudden the box that they're sitting on starts to rumble. Like, what the hell is in this? So they open it up, and it's friggin' rats.
Yeah, full of rats.
And then, no, well, that's the first one is just like a couple rats.
Oh, you're right. Yes.
Then the other one starts rattling, and he's like, "Is that rats too?" He opens it. It is a crate filled with rats.
Right, and the rats that devour him.
Yeah. Pack rats from Magic the Gathering. And then as Anne is horrified at this dilemma that's happening, this whole situation, she starts to back away because then what is she supposed to do? You know, they've already started attacking him.
Oh, right, yeah.
His face is like being eaten off, so she tries
because
to
we've gone from like this like
drama,
kind of slow paced drama, to like this comedically large amount of blood. When he gets attacked by rats.
And then as she tries to escape, a being comes down from the ceiling like freaking Batman onto some bad guys.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we cut to Jacob and he's calling his best friend and she's like, yeah, she's not home yet. I'm so hungry.
Right. Yeah. And it's just kind of like a, hey, have you seen her? Because, yeah.
Have you seen her?
Oh, he even kind of does it like a, hey, let me talk to, and they're like, she's not over here. He's like, oh, okay. I kind of thought she was. My mistake, kind of thing.
You didn't, you don't want to. You're the minister of this town. You don't want to look. It's almost like a political situation, right? You don't want to look like you don't want your household to look
right
disheveled,
right, tarnished.
I always like the phrase like "get your house in order."
Yes.
When you're telling somebody to get their shit together. But no, and then so she comes in and she's like, I'm tired. I'm sorry, just eat whatever. I'm gonna go to sleep. And then like she goes into the bathroom and then she opens up her jacket and it's just rife with blood.
Totally covered in blood.
Yeah. But she can't sleep.
Right.
Like Jacob, he gets into bed and he wakes up in the morning and she's not there.
Yeah.
She's doing her her aerobics, her VHS aerobics.
Yep.
And he's like, is breakfast ready? He's like, I'm not hungry.
He's like, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll just grab something on the way to church.
Yeah, you do that. And you're like, oh, if you, in a normal situation, like, I would have been like, oh, she, God damn it, she fucked the law.
Right. Oh, no, really, because, she was this dutiful housewife, and then she spent one day with her old flame, and now all of a sudden she's like, she's not in bed, she comes home late, she doesn't cook you breakfast.
Yeah, like she didn't get close to you when she came home because you're like thinking like, oh, she doesn't want me to smell like dick on her mouth. That dick breath. It's all vinegary. No, and so he does his work at the church. He has some run-ins with some youths.
Yep.
Meanwhile, I believe she went to the grocery store looking for some groceries. Nothing is appetizing to her until she gets to the meat section.
Yeah.
And then she pokes her finger into some meats.
So some steak.
Yeah, but she's not poking the steak. She's like poking the blood around the steak. And she she licks her finger, and then there's a butcher like right in front of her, like, can I help you?
Can I help you?
And she's like, well, can I get this? And she's like, what? And he's like, yep. And he's like, yeah, give me all of it. Which, to be fair, in cultures they have used blood as like for soup bases, which is the Philippines has it. I'm not a fan of it,
right.
But I believe some people in the South also have like blood stew type of situations. Mm-hmm. I'm just not a huge fan of it, but it's not abnormal. But maybe for this Midwest town, it is. But like, no, she goes home. She's like lifting like freaking couches.
Rearranging the room and just like one hand in the lazy boy.
Oh, yeah. But then the other hand, she has a wine glass filled with blood.
Right.
And it seems like it's almost working until she just vomits everything.
Right. Just expels.
Almost like the Exorcist
a whole
vomit.
Bag of blood that she's drank.
And
again, a comedically large amount of blood.
It's like that throw up scene in Team America.
Right.
And so,
And it's fun because it's so much of this is played serious,
mm-hmm.
and then there's just some of these things that like just hit, and they're just
Yeah, when it gets to the ridiculous parts, it definitely amps it up. Like
Yeah.
it was 0 to 100, and so Jacob comes home, and he's like, I don't smell dinner cooking. He's like, all right. But then Anne pops out of nowhere in this beautiful red dress with the
Right.
red scarf, and she's like, "Take me out to town."
Yep.
And he's like, why?"
What was it?
Because I
What-
want to.
What's the occasion?
Because I want to. And so they're at this like nice little steakhouse.
Right, fancy restaurant.
Jacob devouring his surf and turf. Meanwhile, Anne is not.
Right.
Yeah, nothing looks appetizing. He's like, Jacob's even like, well, just take it home. And she's like, I don't want it.
Right, and then the waiter comes over,
Yeah.
and he says to the waiter, "She'll need a box," and she's just like, "No,
No, I won't.
I won't. I'm done."
Yeah.
And that's another one of those things where it's like she never talked back to him.
Mm-hmm. She was always quiet, So what do they used to say about kids? Kids are meant to be,
Seen and not heard.
yeah. If you ever meet an old person, they used to say that, you're gonna get hit. Those are the people that used to hit their kids. No, and so the night happens. Well, like what's it called? Oh, I forgot if they kind of diverge, but I forgot what happens for that night. I believe Anne again doesn't sleep,
Right.
or something like that. They
Is that the
well, no,
night where she looks out the window?
Oh no, that's the next night.
Okay.
So like the day progresses again, but what's it called? The minister, he goes to his best friend's house and he's talking to his best friend's wife and he's like, do you have something I could drink? Something strong? Because first she offers up tea and coffee.
Right.
And she's like, something strong. She's like, well, tea with a little bit of brandy, which is really good. I don't know if you ever had like tea and whiskey.
Mm-mm.
Super good. I forgot what it's called, but it's good, It's a nice nightcap.
Okay.
But no, he's like, oh, just hold the tea. And he downs this brandy.
Yeah.
Just down the hatch. And he's talking to his best friend. He's like, she's been acting different ever since Tom came back into town.
Right. And he says he's like I'm not accusing her of anything, but she is definitely in a different state of mind than she was.
And his best friend's like, you got to talk to Tom, all right? That's your wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, I don't know. I'm a minister. He's like, yeah, but you're also married.
Right.
Which is the reason why my uncle told me that priests are better than ministers. Because he said priests are 100% for the Lord. Ministers have wife and kids that he possibly puts.
It's funny because that same kind of joke comes up when he interacts with the
youths.
the youths.
Yeah.
And the one kid's like, I was like, why don't you just go molest an altar boy? And he's like, I'm a minister.
Yeah.
That's priests.
And that's probably the rebuttal. It's almost like the military. They make fun of like Air Force people. Like,
Yeah.
well, they wear their hats indoors. That's stupid. Which was told to me when I was doing ROTC in high school. But no, and so meanwhile, Anna's in her room. She's in her nightie, but then she gets the call.
Right.
And it's this Nosferatu looking vampire.
Right. And at this point, it's still very shadowy. It's like you never really see.
I think I kind of knew just because I watched Nosferatu because it was like the first movie, and then the shape was like very similar. So I was like, oh, is this like a Nosferatu type of vampires? Which I gotta say is like my least favorite. Just like I don't like the fangs.
There was some show that was all like about like vampires and it was like different clans of vampires and like one was like the Nosferatu clan. And they all
it was the movie we did in the first one. The first movie.
No, but there was a TV show that used to be like
Buffy?
that. Maybe it was a Buffy Angel kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that's the only vampire shows I can recollect. I mean, I guess there's True Blood and Vampire Diaries, but I never watched those.
Yeah, no, True Blood was just about like vampires and sex.
And yeah, and a lot of dude on dude action too.
More than I was comfortable with.
It's just like it's so rampant. It's just so much. I watched one episode because I think like the friends I was hanging out with, like their girlfriends were watching it, and then the first thing I see is like two dudes. I'm like, yo, this is weird.
It's not all dude on dude. But man, I was started off where I was like, hey, Rogue.
Yeah.
I like that actress.
And the chick from what's it called? Daredevil was in there, right? I think so. Because after I watched Daredevil, I was like, oh, I wonder if this actress has ever been nude. So I looked it up. Yeah. Super cool chick though. She plays D&D.
You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She plays D&D though. So
okay.
That's really cool. But no, and so like yeah, she starts kind of like touching herself in front of this vampire, and that's when Jacob walks in. He's like, "What are you doing?"
Right. And to him, she's just diddling herself in the open window.
Yeah. So sinful. Yeah. And the night is just awkward.
Oh yeah, right.
But the next day, Jacob was like, "All right, I'm going to go to the mill. I'm going to talk to Tom. I'm going to lay down some rules." Meanwhile, Annie, she goes to the dentist, and she's like, "What is up with there's a lot of dirt in your teeth," because the day previous she was eating like worms from the garden.
She's out in the garden and she's eating worms. Yeah.
Ugh. And then like she's like, "Oh my God, I think you have a new set of teeth coming in." It's not unheard of. But I was like, you saw the shape. I was like, come on.
Right.
Yeah, I would have been like, oh my God, vampire. Gotta stake her now.
Yeah. but the dentist is like, we're going to go ahead and set up an appointment so we can take a closer look at these later.
Yeah, but here, let's do some teeth whitening. So they put the UV on her.
Right. And
and
vampires don't like UV.
Yeah.
And I immediately thought that. I was like,
yeah.
I mean, like, she hasn't had much reaction to sun, but she's always wearing sunglasses. She's always wearing a sun hat. So I'm like, okay, maybe she's just shaded, Well,
I was thinking because maybe the vampire that had turned her was like a stronger vampire.
Maybe.
But like, she had so yeah, she burned her mouth with the UV thing. Like, it's looking bad. She's like running out of there. I think if I was the dentist, I would have called the hospital.
Right.
But she gets home and she's like flailing around in her house, and then her neighbor sees, and he's like, "Miss Fedler, are you okay?" 'Cause she's flailing.
Right. He's like, "Are you having a heart attack? Is you having a stroke? Can I get you some help?"
Oh no, he doesn't say that. Oh yeah, as he's walking into the house.
Yeah.
That's what he was saying, but then like as he gets closer to the kitchen, she's just staring.
Right.
And I was like, If it was me, I'd be like, I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
But like, cause he's like, you're making me feel really uncomfortable right now. What's wrong, And then she turns around and slits his throat.
Yep.
So fast. And as he's trying to crawl away, and this is where it ramps up to 100 because he cracks his neck.
Yep.
It was like, it's like a fucking one of those otter pops. And blood gushing everywhere. It is so good. And meanwhile, Jacob is in the factory. He runs into the two youths that he did in front of his church.
Right.
And Oscar, who is the male youth, kind of like bullies him out until he like falls onto the floor, and he's like, he's not a bad kid because he's like, oh shoot, oh
yeah, he's like, I was just trying to scare you. I didn't mean to, like, are you okay?
Yeah, he's not a bad kid.
Right.
He's just he's during that. First of all, this guy doesn't look like a youth. He looks like he's about 28, 29. I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure you could have found some like town kids to play this role, but no. All of a sudden, the vampire Batman's him.
Right, and then this is the vampire, or this is the girl who was missing.
Oh yeah,
from earlier.
Yeah, Angie.
Yeah,
Angie or something, and bites into his neck, blood spraying everywhere, and she's like going off. She's like, I found a new master. And you know, Jacob is trying to, you know, ward her off with the Holy Bible and everything, which it seems to be. She seems to have an aversion to it.
A slight.
Yeah, slight, you know, discomfort. You know, a 2 on the 10 scale.
Right.
Like she could still go to work.
Yeah. It's like, you got a bright flashlight. You're shining in my eyes, kind of thing.
But as she's about to go to attack Jacob, the other youth, the female, she knocks her out in the back.
Right.
And they kind of run out, and they're like, we have to go to the police. But Jacob is like, I have to go check on my wife.
Right, yeah, because she mentions the wife.
Mm-hmm.
They go, oh, yeah, your wife is home with the master.
Yeah. And so he rushes there, but he's like, he finds Annie just licking the floor of the blood, and he's like, what the...
And you could tell that the vampire powers is kicking in because her rancid, burnt up mouth is all healed now.
Yeah, she's looking decent. Yeah, except for all the blood in her mouth from licking it up on the floor. And he's like, "Oh no!" So he starts cleaning up, but then the police come. The sheriff comes. Funny, like they couldn't give him even like a real badge. It was like a sewed-on badge, which I think. Maybe normal. I don't know too much. You know what I mean? And so, you know, he's like, hey, Reverend, hey, Father. You know, we got this strange thing. This youth came in talking about vampires, and strangely enough, she said that you were there. And he's like, were you there? And he's like, oh no, I wasn't there at all.
Right. Oh yeah, this is the crackhead kids. I don't know. I don't even know who they are.
But you know, like Father, you know, we went there. Of course, nothing was there, but this was there. And it's his pocket Bible. Right. And he's like, oh, that must be from my, you know, Parisian. You know, here, let me have that back. You know,
dumb kids will steal anything.
Yeah. And he's like, all right, well, you know, and like in the kitchen, everything, people are, the body is like now moving, which can presume is possibly a vampire.
Right. It's turning into a vampire.
Yeah. And he was like, well, you know, Father, I'll leave you alone. Sounds like Anne is having some trouble. And he's like, yeah. And so Father's like, this is really messed up. And he, like, drives this stake into this body. Which, like, strangely enough, I guess maybe because it was in the process of turning that it didn't disintegrate. Because when they kill other vampires, they, like, turn into goop. Mm-hmm. Which we'll see later. But they end up burying this body. And they're like... oh no, what are we gonna do?
So they bury it out in the garden.
Yeah, they bury it out in the garden. He's like, oh, what are we gonna do? You know, or maybe we'll find the master, and if we kill the master, maybe he'll turn back.
Right? Yeah.
You know, and so
apparently he's seen some movies.
Yeah. Nothing else. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if there's still a Blockbuster in this town. Just like the last standing Blockbuster is in Alaska, right? Because there's not a movie theater. Man. And so they end up deciding to like, all right, let's go to the warehouse and let's see if we could try to fix you. But then Annie's like, I don't want to be fixed. I feel more alive than I have in the past 30 years, which is kind of a blow. Like,
yeah.
I mean, we've been married that long. Are you saying that you've been dead inside the moment you said I do? Could have been like 15 years. Like you couldn't even give me the first 15. But no, they end up going to the factory. They're trying to find the master, but they find Angie. And Angie is able to, you know, like, you know, Annie's like holding her. She's like, yeah, stake her. We got to stake her. And you know, Angie starts to put on the waterworks, you know, like those monsters do.
Right, yeah, the demon twist.
Please don't. Like, what about my mother? And like, you can save me, right, Father? And I was like, oh, that's such a tall order because, you know, if you're a minister, that's your job.
Right. Yep.
You know, it's to save these people. And he's like, oh, maybe we can save you. But Annie's like, oh, you pussy. And then stakes Angie.
Runs her through.
Yeah, and she turns into goop.
Yep.
And he leaves. And so, like, Annie follows her out, and he's like, what are you doing? The master's still in there. We got to get him. You know? And he's
right,
like,
this is our chance.
And he's like, no, Annie, you know, you've already made me do things.
that are against God.
And they're against, I've already done too much for you. And he's like, this is really where the root of the problem for their whole marriage has probably been is like,
Right.
you're a coward. You know, you don't want to fight for me. You haven't fought for me ever since we've gotten married.
Yeah. And then I just have one little problem, and we have a solution, and you're just like, nope, it's just easier to blame you.
Yeah, so, and everything is, this is what couples therapy is for. It's like,
Right.
it's to try to air out these issues in a safe space, in a more controlled manner. Because, if you try to have these conversations, you guys maybe start yelling at each other, then no one's there to mitigate the situation.
Right, just screaming at each other outside the gin mill.
Yeah. If you guys had the gin, maybe that would help calm things down or amp it up. I don't know. But no, and so they split up. Jacob leaves. He's like, you're on your own. And he's like, pussy.
Right, he doesn't even take her home, let her get her stuff, whatever. He's just like,
leaves.
Nope. Yeah. We're on the edge of town. Deuces.
Yeah, and she's like, this is your fault. You came over here to get dicked down by Tom Law. That's why this is happening, because of your lust, your sins. Which is like, I mean, come on, man. Don't point your fingers at me while that shit is dirty. But Anne is walking home. She gets picked up by a stranger. I was like, we never, just got picked up by a random person. I mean, I guess she really doesn't have anything to fear. She has vampire strength.
Right, and she's the wife of the minister in the town, so she probably
knows this person.
At least everybody probably knows her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but then, Jacob gets out of bed, and it seems like he's having what's it called, a change of heart. Yeah. But all of a sudden, Annie comes, and, oh, no, sorry, the master comes. The master comes and takes hold of Jacob, and now he's, on the when Annie comes home, he's on the floor on his knees with a knife to his neck.
To his own neck, yeah.
And then this is the first real glimpse that we get of the Nosferatu vampire girl. Yeah. Yeah, and she's like, yeah, do it. Do it. Ah. Every time I hear a bad guy say do it, type of all I can see is Emperor Palpatine. Ah.
Yeah, and vampires got long stringy fingers too.
Yeah. And so he makes Jacob cut his own neck to expose the blood. Yeah. And he's like, she vamps out and she gets on top of Jacob. Jacob's like, no, please don't. And they start fucking. She pulls out one tit. And I was like, I know what I'm doing after this movie. MILF. Cougar Hunter. No, they do start having sex on the floor, and after the sex, they're like, well, what are we going to do now? What's going to happen? And, they kind of the day goes on, it hits day, and she's like, I'm getting weaker. Look, she bites her own, hand or, arm. Right, yep. And I think it's the same situation that you would get if you're, dehydrated. The skin doesn't automatically bounce back. Right.
Yeah, it's like biting into silly putty.
Yeah, it's so, yeah. And they're like, well, I don't know what to do. We can't kill somebody. But then all of a sudden, Jacob gets a call from one of his parishioners. And he's like, hey, can you check on my mom? She hasn't replied to any of my phone or responded to any of my phone calls or text messages. So they go over there. Yeah. And the old lady that we see at the beginning of the movie has now probably passed away in her sleep. Yeah. And so they're like, the Lord giveth. Because now there's it's kind of like,
this is a miracle.
This is a miracle. This is a godsend. Yeah, because now it's like, she's already dead, so might as well exsanguinate her.
Right. And then they're also having this kind of conversation where where he's apologizing. He's like, hey, I'm sorry that I always talk over you. And
because they're smoking weed. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. Because he's like, hey, I stole this from one of the kids. Yeah. Why don't you try this? See if this kind of dulls the pain.
And it does. Yeah. And this is sort of where they get a good heart to heart. Yeah. And he's like, I don't mean to talk over you, and I'm really sorry. And then she's like, well, I really wish I just spoke up more. Right. She's kind of you kind of see that. type of dynamic with like these older couples
Yeah.
that are like that have been in that. Maybe, yeah, like maybe at once she was very outspoken and opinionated, but after 40 years, you kind of like, shrivel up as a person inside.
Right. And then in his head, it's like, oh, she never talks, so I'm just going to talk for her.
Yeah, so it's,
And that's,
so like
they both end up resenting each other.
Yeah, but then at that point they really had a good airing out of all their grievances. Yeah. But no, so they wrap up this lady like a burrito, and they're trying to drag her out. But then there's like this little kid, and she's like, "I'm not leaving until you tell me bad word." And he's like, "Fuck off." She's like, "I already know that one." And the priest is like, "Whatever, let's go." Meanwhile, the neighbor calls the police because they're like, "Hey."
Well, because she's like, my husband's missing.
Yeah, but
and now it looks like the neighbors are like carrying a dead body into their house.
Which in my head, I was like, well, usually you'd want to carry a dead body out of the house.
Right.
And so, what's it called? The Reverend is like, hey, I gotta go. I'm gonna go to the factory. I'm gonna kill the master, and hopefully that turns you back. But if it doesn't, go ahead and exsanguinate this body, and then put it in a little like XXX jars that you used to see in cartoons.
Gourds? The old moonshine bottles.
Yeah, because I know like Asians have that like sort of device, but it's called the gourd. You see it like in those really old school where they have it over the shoulder.
Yep.
Which is really cool. I've done it before. I was like, man, I feel kind of badass. Drunken master type situation, even though there's nothing but coke in here. Which is probably not good for that gourd. But then again, I don't know. I don't know anything about woodworking. So, no. And so, but it's funny because his best friend and his wife go, I guess they have like this weekly dinner thing. And they walk into her hanging this body upside down as she's trying to drain it.
And again, this is where you see it's small town because they're just like, hey, we're over at our friend's house. They're expecting us for dinner. We're just going to walk right on in.
Yeah, which, I mean, to be fair, like, with my friends and all that stuff, if they know I'm coming over, their doors are pretty much unlocked. Just walk in. Like, you get so close to, like, certain people that you even just open up their fridge. Like, and that's probably the situation that they have. Meanwhile, the Reverend gets pulled over by the police, by the sheriff and CM Punk, who is playing deputy.
Yep.
And they're like, "Hey, what's in that bag?" And then like, this how it's a small town because he's like, "You don't have a search warrant." But he's like, "Yeah, go ahead, open the bag," and it's filled with all these vampire killing.
Right, the holy water and steak and a hammer
and
a book on Bram Stoker's Vacula.
Yeah. And some rope, hopefully doused in holy water. They're like, oh, okay. And he's like, oh, I'm telling you, like, there's a monster there. It's like Reverend's office, knocker.
Right, yeah.
But then the police get something on the radio. It's like, hey, you're never going to believe this. And then we cut back to the house. The best friend and the wife are calling the police.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah. And he has a knife, and he's like, his best friend's like, if you put Jacob into this situation, I'll fucking kill you first. I was like, bro, that's a bro right there. And meanwhile, the wife is like, I don't want to be in this house. This is so disturbing. Which, I mean, yeah, to be fair.
Right, there's a body hanging
You're
from the ceiling.
freaking coming to this house with a casserole, and then you see a naked dead woman being exsanguinated.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden, she gets lifted up in the air, and the best friend's like, where's my wife? Where's my wife? And then he's like, go out there. And so Annie and the husband, or the best friend, go outside. The wife is in the middle of the backyard.
Right.
But then now she's talking in a totally different voice.
Yep.
And as she turns around, she has a rat in her throat cut out.
Yeah.
And then she bites the
rat's head off. Yep.
And I was like, oh, fuck. And then behind the husband, the Nosferatu vampire comes and rips out, like, his neck as well.
Yep.
And now female Nosferatu is trying to talk to Anne, like, just give in. Give in to the darkness. Don't you want to be free?
Right, and it's a little bit of a girl power kind of thing. It's kind of like hey, I very carefully pick the people who I'm turning into vampires. because I see them being held under the thumb of the man, and
Yeah, it wasn't so like in your face, but it was just like, I was once a meek woman like you.
right.
So meek that like I was like a house mouse and all that stuff. It wasn't like Endgame. She's got all the help she needs, like female empowerment. But
Right,
it was,
right. No, 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 no.
Yeah, it was very subtle. It was like it has a very a message, and it
Right.
wasn't preachy. It's just like I'm trying to set you free from the bounds that you've chained yourself to.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, she gets shot in the back by CM Punk. I was like, got him, Chief. And then Nosferatu vampire gets up, and she's like, oh, no, you didn't.
Right. Yeah, and the other cop's like, I thought you said you got him.
I did. And so they try to attack, to try to get her, but then she's turned the dirt, the soil into like mush.
Right.
Like a marsh.
Yeah.
And then the body of the neighbor is like holding them down.
His dirt's coming out of the ground.
And she keeps trying to talk to Annie. She's like, don't you want this? Don't you want to be free?
Right. Free and strong.
And beautiful. Which, I mean, I guess this vampire is probably like, probably 2,000 years old or something like that.
Right, yeah, because definitely not beautiful.
Well, maybe back then,
That's true.
But also, she's probably been asleep for like how long? So
right, yeah.
And Anne is, she's like, tells Anne like, oh, if you drink from my blood, you'll never feel hungry. You'll only feed when you want to feed.
Right.
Which is very important.
Right, and that's an interesting new kind of little twist on the vampire thing.
Yeah, actually, really cool because I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
To be able to control when you have to feed. I mean, you probably still have to feed regularly because, your body probably starts to deteriorate.
Right, but you don't have that blood rage.
Yeah, that I see red type of situation.
Yeah.
You can carefully do it. Have a much more stable mind as you feed.
Right, yeah.
But then, like, as Annie is about to feed on this woman's blood, or this the Nosferatu vampire, Jacob stakes her from the back.
Yep.
And Annie is pissed. She's like, we were having a breakthrough earlier, and now you want to take the choice away from me.
Yep.
Are you stupid? And he's like, I didn't want you to fall to deeper, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And sheriff and deputy like, I don't know, how am I gonna? Deputy, how are you gonna write this report?
And he's like, this is a non-violent domestic dispute.
He's like, sounds good. Because really, how do you write this up?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, also, do you just negate the body that's in the yard?
Yeah, that's just an arm that reached out and grabbed you.
Right? Maybe it was a illusion magic.
Yes. We'll go with that.
And she like to the sheriff. He's like, well, all right, leave that to you, Jacob.
Yeah, this looks like it's more your field than mine.
Yes, because ministers are known to be vampire.
He was like, hey, it could be demon, devil possession.
Right, and so we back up into the house, and they're like, well, what do we do now? And it's like, well, we just sell the house.
Right.
And go wherever.
Right, we kind of just disappear.
Yeah, and then, it's kind of a fair thing because for 40 years she's done whatever for him.
Right.
So maybe, it's time for them to go get a RV and travel the country, as retired people like to do.
Hit small towns and pick up homeless people and eat them.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the most low key, right?
Right.
You bleed these homeless people dry. I don't know how human diseases affect vampires. I don't see it doing too much.
Right.
Yeah, and then maybe you turn Jacob too, or maybe maybe he's your Renfield.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I guess she doesn't really need a Renfield because multiple times in this movie we've been shown that she's been able to walk around during the day.
Right. Just excessive sunlight,
Yeah.
or UV on her teeth. is bad, but it's not that it's
Yeah, she's not combusting into flames.
Right, yeah.
Oh man, and then they kiss, but it's sort of like in that situation where she has her teeth out, and then he has a steak in his hand, and then yeah, the movie ends. Before we get to talking more in depth about this movie, let's go to our other section. We have high star, low star.
Boom. So we got a 9 out of 10. Cult 80s style classic horror with a spin. I think this take on suburban vampire is a real find. It has a classic cult movie feel that horror fans love from some of the best remembered 80s fun horrors like Fright Night and Lost Boys, but with a cool domestic strife theme that's pretty universal and runs through the whole piece. It's nicely styled throughout. The two leads are great, and it's refreshing to see an older couple at the center of a vampire movie, usually the domain of a teen against a very...
Oh, no, teen angst.
Oh, teen angst and the very young. And it subverts quite a few of the vampire tropes, even to offer fresh spin. So this is kind of a marriage story with vampires.
Oh, wait, no, so it's kind of Marriage Story, which was actually a movie with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver.
Oh, okay.
Same sort of themes as well, just no vampires.
Oh, okay. So this is kind of Marriage Story with vampires, and all held together by the charm of Crampton and Fessenden.
Yeah.
The main reason it has legs beyond most forgettable horror releases these days. There are some amusing spewing gore as the genre dictates, but it's not beyond the pale of
Offensively?
Yeah. And I think the character work opens this up to a broader audience than much of the current horror fare.
And then we got a 1 out of 10. A whole lot of BS. If you're a horror movie lover, please ignore all the high ratings. This right here is a total waste of time and data. I can't even believe I watched till the end. I honestly doubt if those rating this movie high has seen it. It's poorly made, total rubbish. No, I don't think so at all. I think obviously, like the amount of horror movies that you and I have consumed together is
right
a good amount of the library that's out there. Like we've even me and you have even sort of ventured into foreign horrors just to see what those are about as well.
Definitely.
No, I think okay, so for the 1 out of 10, I get it. If you're I feel like if you're a casual horror film fan, you might not like this as much. But then, obviously the people that high rate like movies like Hereditary, Midsommar, The Babadook, for us, like I believe they're okay movies, but they have like these other themes in it that are way more prevalent, and the horror is just a vehicle for all this.
Yes.
And this sort of kind of lines up with that type, because this movie, like I said, it's very much like, or like the reviewer had said, is very much Marriage Story with the vampires.
Right.
Because you have been married, and so I'm pretty sure the themes of the marriage portion of this movie kind of resonate.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, like that complacency with the marriage after time, the kind of like, you're still in love with the person, but you remember what you used to want, and like, is there still that ability to get that?
Yeah,
where you're at.
And like, I understand, like, what's it called? Like, the longer you're in a relationship with somebody, you still probably yearn for like those butterflies you used to get.
Right.
But like, you've been in like a really long relationship, you know, and you understand that sometimes, like, the butterflies sometimes aren't there. But like, it's also, I feel like, I think what this movie was trying to teach, and using the horror as a vehicle, is that it still takes work. After, the finish line isn't, at the I do.
Right.
Like, the finish line is like when one of you die. But But I think what's great about this movie is that, the reason why I put this movie sort of above like those slow burn type of Arioster type of horror films is that it has like the B movie charm with all of the gore.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, the practical effects.
And it's like it's not like a ha-ha comedy, not like some of the ones we did earlier this month, but it's a dark comedy. It's always like I love a movie where like the movie finishes and you're like, that movie was hilarious, and not once during it did I laugh.
Yeah, it's very much in line with that, but like obviously I feel like the main concept of the whole movie was just to be like, hey, appreciate each other.
Right. Yeah, and it's great when you got like a real well developed story outside of the horror. So it's not like you get like two movies in one.
Yeah. Like I definitely, the best thing about this is like the two main leads with Fessender and Crampton were so good.
Yeah.
Like I told you, like the Marriage Story movie was with Scarlett Johansson and Adam Driver, and I felt like that would have been really interesting if they were vampires. Like Scarlett Johansson as a vampire, yes. But no, like these two actors, I think really are what the legs of this movie. They kind of, if these two weren't so likable, because you can kind of understand both.
Right. Oh yeah.
Right. You've definitely been Jacob being comfortable in a routine, but then you've also been Anne, where you're like, this can't just be it.
Right.
Like I understand the routine for a daily life is fine, but like, come on, let's go on a vacation.
Let's go to dinner for no reason.
Yeah, for her, she was like, I just want to go.
Yeah.
You got, and I think it's like really healthy when like, like especially now today, people are way more open to, seeing therapists.
Right. And then you also get like kind of like that, especially if you have like one person who's, working from home or the housewife, and the other person's got this job that's like he's going to the church every day. He's counseling people. He's he's helping the city. Like there's so much involved in his job where like his brain's probably just like, oh, she's happy being at home. So when I get home, I just enjoy dinner. Yeah. I could we'll sit and we'll watch our shows and then we'll go to bed and we're both happy.
Yeah, but and then like because like the grass is always like it's always grass is greener type of situation where like if you're the one that's outside all day, you're like, oh, I can't just wait to be home.
Right.
Just, and then for her, she's like probably going stir crazy.
Right. She's home all day and she's like, I just can't wait to go out sometime.
Yeah, like I want to fucking see people.
Yep.
Seeing interactions with other people, having interactions with other people. Like, I can't just look at your dumb face.
and since he talks over her, like, even when she's trying to converse with people at church, he's, like, interrupting and finishing her thoughts and stuff. So she doesn't even really get that release.
Yeah, church.
When she does get out.
Yeah. So, I think the main stay or main point of this movie was much more about the horror aspect, or not the horror, the marriage aspect, and the dynamics of especially what older marriages or older couple dynamics look like.
Right.
Because there is a complacency there. There is like, it's almost like a job at that point, because you're like, we both have our roles. I bring the money, you stay at home.
Right. Because like, if you took the vampire out of this and then just made that
a drama,
like if you made the vampire, because in here it was female, you could have made it like the old hippie friend that she went to college with, who's like, hey, I never got married and my life is great, and you're stuck here with Jacob. Obviously, we see that you don't want to cheat, so we're just going to get rid of him. But you should still come with me. You
Yeah,
know, you
that's
don't even have to get a divorce. Just leave your husband for a little while. Let's go. We'll do like a cruise across the country, or like a jump in my RV. We'll, you know.
yeah. We'll fucking see the world.
Right. We'll Thelma and Louise this.
Yeah. So like yeah, and like that's one of the things I always like about certain like movies and shows. Like I think I've said this before in this podcast, but the reason why I love like the Loki show so much out of all the Marvel stuff is that you could remove all the Marvel out of that,
Right.
and it would still like be such a good show. It
Yeah.
would still be a really good story. And so same for this movie. You could remove, I think the vampire stuff, while you know that's the charm of the movie with like the
Right.
gore effects and all that stuff, it kind of like tickles the brain of all the B movie horror fans. It also like it delivers a plot, a storyline with just a ton of substance, where it's just like, you know, especially if you're like an older couple and you watch this movie, and this, you know, obviously, you know, you forget all the vampire stuff. You guys might have a conversation about, you know, maybe this movie will kind of open the door for that conversation. Like, hey,
Right.
we're stuck in a rut. How about we take a tour through Europe and see new shit?
Right. You know, even if it's just like a weekend away, a little staycation, whatever.
Yes, they can. Like, you know, like let's go to the big city and you know, like
Right.
stay in like a nice little high rise rental. You know, you push my breast against the window and we can fuck in front of the city. Yeah, that's right, Indianapolis. How do you feel? Like, you know, like, you know, sometimes this movie is trying to tell you, like, hey, you know, spice it up sometimes. You know, bring some food in, you know? Bring some food into the bedroom, you know? Put some whipped cream on those titties. Some whipped cream on that dick. You know, just make sure to wash it off before you have sex, because you totally fuck up the pH in your vagina.
Oof, yeah. Yeah.
Don't wanna get a yeast.
Nothing curdling in there.
Do I smell cheese?
Whoa,
cheese?
hey, whoa. Hey.
I didn't know you could do that in there. Yeah, and I think, you know, I think that's what kind of made this movie like a lot more enjoyable too, because yeah, you could totally see it as just being like maybe like a thriller drama, you know, like, oh, we gotta kill my husband so I can finally escape him.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you feel about the vampire being a chick?
It was a surprise. I liked that was a good twist on it as well, because then it just wasn't the typical I'm a lusty vampire and you're a hot older woman and be my ninth wife kind of thing.
Well, I guess to the vampire, she's like an infant.
Right.
Age-wise. But like, yeah, no, like, yeah, I actually was super surprised when I first heard the voice.
Because almost all the movies are always like the vampire seducing
the girl, and it's just like, it's a tired trope.
Right.
So when it ended up becoming, or where it ended up being a female, I was like, oh, that's a nice twist. And then like the whole spiel at the end where, you know, I was just like you.
Right.
You know? And like, yeah, you could have really, yeah, like you said, you could have really replaced this vampire with the hippie, like, best friend from high school.
Yeah.
The free spirit, you know, and like probably back then you were both free spirits, you know, like smoking weed and fucking not showering for weeks. That's why these white girls have dreads.
Yep.
The hair naps up. No, yeah, and I think that's what made this movie like as enjoyable as it was. Because I was like, all right, I'm gonna go into this blind. I don't want to watch the trailer. You know, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna be in a really good like B movie type of movie, and I was like, oh, this movie's kind of deep.
Yeah, no, this was. I mean, like, because we've done. Sometimes you get a lot of those B movie, like Tubi original, Shudder original, and they're really just kind of just for the fans. It's just like, hey, we're gonna go over the top with the blood and the monsters, and you know we'll have one famous person in this that you know. And
One has been.
Yeah. So, we're gonna do vampire bats that are attacking the city, and we got Lou Diamond Phillips in it. And then that's actually a movie. So
Yeah. Yeah, and then it's kind of just like one gear, But it was nice that this movie had multiple aspects to it.
Right. Yeah.
And,
actually, like some, and like you said early on, it was well directed, well shot. So it wasn't even just like,
Yeah, the pacing was good.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't really ever boring as it went through, because you're like, because as you're watching this movie, you're seeing sort of like the transformation for Anne.
Yeah.
Going. Meanwhile, you have her husband Jacob is like kind of going stir crazy because he's like, she fucked him. He laid down the law. He calls his penis the law so he can lay it down. He doesn't say that, but in my head, that's what we've been going through.
And yeah, like it was a realistically good job for, a husband or a boyfriend who suspects but can't prove.
Yeah.
And that's like that. I don't know if I'm jealous or if I'm mad or if I just want to get rid of her or if I want to like save her. Do
we work through this because we've been married for 40 years?
Right.
Yeah. Like for you, I was like for me, like I can kind of put my shoes in them, but I've never been married. But I was like wondering when you were watching it, was like, did this movie resonate with you?
Oh yeah.
A ton. And
there was like the person who gave it a 1 star. Like, if that's like a 19-year-old kid or whatever, who's never been in a long-term relationship, and then like you've got an older set of people who are, and it's a low budget. Like, yeah, I could see them be like, this isn't a horror movie for my generation. Yeah. But I think even once you got to like the millennial stage, and you've got the people with a little bit of past, a little bit of understanding of relationships and stuff. This I think probably hits
a lot. Yeah, because I've
for the 30 plus.
Yeah, because even for me, I was like, like thinking back to my old relationship, like, so why some of them didn't work is because I was like, I got too comfortable. Mm-hmm. That was like, I think my major relationship, that's what would happen. That's what happened. She's like, I don't have butterflies for you anymore. Nothing's exciting. Everything's sort of the same. And I was like, fuck. And so like, later, like I was like, all right, like I'll make sure, to be spontaneous a little bit, For me, she doesn't have to know that I put it in my planner. Yeah, I could be planned and spontaneous. Right. Spontaneous to her, planned to me.
I had a friend once who was like, when the relationship starts getting like that, what you do is you open Groupon, and whatever their feature of the day is, you don't know what it is till you open Groupon. You're like, today we are doing, boom, axe throwing, half off axe throwing. Let's do it.
Yeah, see, she doesn't have to know that you went to Groupon. The thing that she's gonna know is like, wow, he's so adventurous. He wanted to base jump today.
I'm like, I guess you got some limitations.
We're going horseback riding today. That's sick. Wow, he's so spontaneous, which is like a really great idea.
Right.
And very thrifty on the wallet. They don't have to know.
Right.
You don't have to know that we're. I never understood the what's it called? The repulsed nature when your partner uses a coupon.
Right.
It's like, doesn't that prove that you're being like, oh, he's good, or they're good with their money?
Yeah. Right.
And I think that's a bigger issue for like earlier, like, the younger kids, like, I don't know, 18 to 24. They're like, did you really just use a coupon?
Right.
But then, like, after you maybe like 28 and up, you're like, oh, he used a coupon. Two different inflections.
I guess you got like there's a limit to that. You don't have to go like, hey, first date, let's go Dutch 50-50, or you pay for yours, I pay for mine, and then you get there and be like, I have a buy one get one free coupon, so you go ahead and pay. Mine's free. You know, there's like a little extreme to that.
Unless you're really slick and you could like here let me oh you're paying cash here I'll just bring it up
Yeah,
immediately
yeah.
do that.
Yeah. Oh, I only had a card, so I'll bring it up. You give me the cash. You Venmo me your half.
Oh yeah, no, you just take the cash and you just put it all in your card, but behind the card is the coupon.
Yep.
Oh man, listen, right now with the economics today is like going Dutch might be the way. All right, well, we are coming to the end of the episode. Make sure to check out our other episodes down below. We have Video Game Month, live anime adaptation. We got foreign horrors.
Like we always mention, we got Nicolas Cage month. We've got non-Marvel DC superhero month.
Oh, Spaghetti Man.
Musical month. Oh, Spaghetti Man was so good. Musical month. Zombie.
Nazi zombies.
Nazi zombies.
Which is funny that we could probably do another month of Nazi zombies, to be honest. Oh man, I guess you guys got to thank Call of Duty for that one. But the way that we do our reviews, if this is the first time you guys are joining us, is we have it in 4 different sections. We have Stream It, DVD It, Blu-ray It, and the Ultimate Box Collection. Colby, where are you at for this one?
I really enjoyed this movie. I love that it's on Shudder, and that I am also like you. I fought the Shudder thing, and now I've just had it for like 7 months, so I'll probably just keep it. So it's always there. But like if I saw this, God man, I probably would Blu-ray this. I'm sure this has got some
juicy features,
some fun stuff to go with it.
Yeah, definitely. I think because like it's more than what it's advertising.
So much, yeah.
Even though it's on streaming, like I know we said something about the first movie is like it's on stream, we'll just have it on stream. I feel like because this has a lot more notes to it, that I could definitely warrant a Blu-ray. It's like I said and like Colby said, it's well shot, it's well directed, the pacing is there. It's a fun movie, but it's also a little bit of it's just a solid flick.
Yeah.
And so I definitely could see myself buying Blu-ray as well.
Oh yeah, and this is shareable.
Yeah,
love to show this to other people.
You show it to all your friends that are having a rough patch in their marriage. Like, how about you guys watch this?
Right.
Maybe it'll open up a discussion.
And some of the scenes are over the top enough that you could kind of have it like as like a background movie, and then it would just like all of a sudden you just have like this sudden burst of neck ripping, blood squirting, kind of like what do you got on? But definitely also like sit down with your friends, have yourself bourbon and tea. Right?
Bourbon and tea. God, I gotta figure out. Oh, it's called the hot toddy.
Oh, I have definitely heard of that, but I don't think I've ever tried it.
Yeah, tea and whiskey. If I were you, I'd get like a nice little night tea, not a green tea. Because then you might get heart palpitations. The alcohol's a downer, the green tea is an upper. Yeah. But then again, I guess like people make their coffee Irish all the time, so might not have an issue.
That's true. Yeah, I've Bailey's up coffee before.
But thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check out our socials.
Yeah, we got our Facebook, on our Instagram. Threads, Twitter, TikTok.
We're all over the place for you guys. As soon as we figure out what to do with YouTube, we'll be more consistent on there as well. But thank you guys for joining us. My name is Barry.
This is Colby.
And this is Who Watches This. If you guys want to check out who does our theme music, it is Lee Rosevere. It's called Arcade Montage. It's on our album News for Podcast 3, and our Bandcamp is down below.
Thank you.